Hi guys, and welcome to another video. So this is another one of those videos where it's going to be a sort of a mixture of transfer updates, transfer rumours type thing, as well as a match preview as well, just kind of meshed in together. So it's not going to be a typical match preview that you've become accustomed to over the years. It's going to be a bit of a mix and match. And as you can tell by the title, there is absolutely a massive rumour and there are massive reports that Sunderland are interested and have shown concrete interest in Chuba Akpom, of course, former Borough striker, currently of Ajax at the moment. We will get into that in just a moment, but like I've been doing for the last 2 or 3 videos, I've been asking at the beginning of the videos, if you do watch these videos regularly, it'd be massively, massively appreciated if you do hit the subscribe button. Here's the graphic again. This is the percentages of the people who are watching regularly and aren't yet subscribed. And when I have asked at the beginning, a few new subscribers have come in, so it's very nice, it's very refreshing, it motivates me to continue, and of course it puts a smile on my face as well, which is, it's the main thing. It's nice to smile, isn't it? But yeah, anyway, cracking on with it, Chuba Akpom. So last night there were some heavy rumours from some reputable journalists across Europe. There was a couple of them when, I know it doesn't mean everything, but some pretty heavily followed journalists, you know, on like Twitter or X, however you want to call it. The one had like 400,000 followers who reported that Chuba Akpom was piquing the interest of Sunderland, Lille, and I think it was Lens as well. But Sunderland do have concrete interests, but it didn't say who was sort of the head of the race or anything like that, but Sunderland did have interest. And of course, we'll just say it now, do I think it's going to happen? I don't. So before Borough fans flood the comments, say, you're a dickhead, it's never going to happen. I mean, you can still call me a dickhead if you want, that's fair enough. That's your own opinion. But yeah, I don't personally think it's going to happen. But like I said, it was heavily reported. And Chuba Akpom, if that was to happen, which again, I don't think it will, I think that would be bigger and better than a Tom Cannon and even a Ben Brereton. I think that would be bigger and better. He is 29 years of age now, so it doesn't quite fit the bill. But in terms of a championship seasoned and experienced striker, you literally could not get any better. You know, Akpom, who I think was there at Borough not so long ago, a season or two ago, he scored, it was just shy of 30 goals, and I think 27, 28 with it, and then we're in the championship. It is, you know, if you have a look at his goals, he's just one of those players who is a real poacher. It's not all about, you know, pace and running and your skillfulness and getting at defenders. He just always has that knack to be in the right place at the right time. And that in itself is such an invaluable trait and skill to have. It's such an asset to have in a side. You know, if you look, he can win the ball with his head, score goals with his head, his feet. He just gets in there. He can have a couple of long-range efforts here and there, but largely, if you look, it's just, if you give him the service, put the proper crosses into the box, he's always at the right place at the right time, always busting a gut to get in front of his man. And 9 times out of 10, he gets there. And like I said, he scored nearly 30 goals in a Borough shirt, which I think might be a bit of a stumbling block anyway. The fact he played for Borough, I'm not too sure whether... And for me, I can't be asked getting into the argument and the debate of whether it is or isn't a derby. I personally don't think it is. There's a bit of a rivalry, and I think that's it. But whether that will be a stumbling block, that remains to be seen, and whether it's actually a real thing that's happening anyway, whether we are actually genuinely and legitimately interested, that's another story. There was reports first thing this morning. So, as I said, last night, there was heavy reports from a couple of big journalists that were reporting that Sunderland were interested. And then first thing this morning, counteracting that report, there was an Ajax-based outlet, but I don't know how big the outlet was. It was just a link that was shared around, suggesting that he isn't interested in joining Sunderland, which wouldn't surprise me. So I wasn't even really going to touch on Chuba Akpom because I thought, right, that's it then. It's never going to get spoke about again. But only an hour or two ago, has another journalist, a big journalist, a considerably bigger journalist than the Ajax outlet this morning, suggested that Sunderland have had positive talks in terms of the Chuba Akpom deal. I don't know whether that means that we've just agreed on a fee or something like that, and that other clubs that are interested have also been down that. Also, other clubs have been down the same road as us. Again, I'm not too sure. It's all speculation, but if this was to come to fruition, it would be an absolutely insane signing. It really, really would. And again, it would be such a statement of intent. But Ajax, I don't know whether, because I think he had a good season last season. He got into double figures last season, scored goals for Ajax. But this season, it looks like he's been largely coming off the bench, and he's still been scoring. I think he scored in Ajax's last game or the game before, so he's still been scoring goals. I don't know whether he's dropped to the bench because of injuries or what have you. I haven't done that much research to this point because it is only rumours, so I don't want to go too deep into it. But it looks like he's largely coming off the bench, but still scoring. So it's not like we're going to be getting someone who's playing 0 games and he's been pushed out to the side for months and doesn't have game time and isn't match fit. He'd be ready to go and in a league that he's done it nearly 30 times before. Do you know what I mean, in terms of goals? That was just one big update I thought I would give you. But in terms of the match preview, we are, of course, taking on Plymouth at the Stadium of Light this weekend. And I think this could be, it's just such a typical game, innit? When I tell people about these kind of games, I think a lot of people have very similar views. We always seem to play very, very well against the sort of top 6. I feel like it is just, when we take on teams sort of towards the back end of the table, we do struggle, and it's as if we don't really know how to approach them properly. And some games, of course, we will still get away with the win. It's why we are where we are. But we just seem to struggle a little bit more, be it breaking down or how to approach. Or sometimes I feel as though the lads might have the foot off the pedal a little bit. It's like the game against Derby. On paper, originally, you'd think that should be a Sunderland 3 or 4-0 win, potentially. But the opening 20 minutes, the application wasn't quite there. And we actually looked quite poor in the opening 20. Of course, in the end, we managed to get over the line. But we do generally start quite slow against these sort of lesser sides, with no disrespect. Plymouth, they've just come off the back of a 5-0 thrashing from Burnley. I think they were 5-0 down at half-time. And I said then, when it was half-time, I said, these are going to turn into prime Barcelona, aren't they, this weekend? It's written in the stars. It really is. But if you had a look at that game anyway, I think just the general sort of commitment and the intensity of that Plymouth lot was embarrassing. It was embarrassing. And I know that as soon as you go sort of 2-3-0 down in quick succession, everyone's going to get their heads down. That's fair enough. That does happen. But to the degree that they did, it was horrendous. It was absolutely horrendous. They don't have Whittaker. I believe from reports I've seen that he just didn't show up to the game. I know he's been linked with the likes of Middlesbrough and Burnley as well. He's someone who I would have liked us to have a look at, to be honest with you. Although it's a confusing one with Whittaker, because at the beginning of the month, there was rumours that Burnley paid or offered double figures for him, and it was accepted. But then there was rumours, and there's been transfer speculation that Borough have had like a 5 or 6 million bid accepted. So I don't know what the hell's going on there, but he's not been showing up apparently. So the new manager's fuming, and rightly so. But yeah, just the application isn't there at the moment with that Plymouth side. They just look so poor at the back. As soon as there was like one mistake at the back, so many players just aren't tracking runs. And this was before they were 5-0 down. Just simple runs, and you've got defenders just looking at each other like, "I'll go on, you do it. I'll go on, you do it." The attitude just looked absolutely piss poor. So technically, on paper, I think this should be a really good time for us to meet Plymouth. But as I say, it'd just be such a Sunderland thing for us to struggle here, or they just sit in their banks and we're trying to break the deadlock, and it just doesn't happen. Or maybe they catch us on the break. It's just for me, it's just got a 1-0 hit and run in Plymouth's favour written all over it. But hopefully that isn't the case, and we can just be professional, get through it, and maybe pick up a big win, to improve our goal difference for one, but just also get that. We haven't battered a team in quite a while. It doesn't feel like it. And that just gives such massive motivation to the lads. So if that is the case, I'm not going to totally disregard Plymouth, of course. Everyone can have a bad one-off game, but they are bottom of the league for a reason. And we're where we are for a reason. So we need to not be arrogant about it, but be confident and go for it, be professional and continue with the way that we're going. For me, in terms of a lineup, I'm not going to do my predicted lineup this week. However, I've got a feeling it's going to go one or two ways. I think he's either going to go totally unchanged, or he's actually going to change a handful. And he will pay all respects to Plymouth. That is the kind of manager that Rodgers is. He isn't going to change everything just for the sake of it. But I do think there is going to be in the back of his mind thinking Plymouth have been on a piss poor in a form. They've had a terrible last game. I'm going to try a couple of things here. Because with my ender scoring on the wing, because I think Roberts is going to come back into the fray, into the starting 11. But I don't think he can drop my ender because he scored. So he might even put two up top again with Isidore and my ender, and then put Roberts on the right-hand side, and maybe Lefay back on the left, which he keeps on playing him, then Job and Dan Neil in the middle, or Dan Neil and Rigg in the middle. I don't know. Or he might even just change the system totally, maybe drop Isidore, let Mayenda have a run up top on his own, like he has done with Isidore, but because Mayenda's coming into form now, he might stick him up top. We might see Samed stuck in there as well. Again, I don't want him to flood the changes, but it wouldn't surprise me if he did make one or two little changes here and there just to get game time for some. And again, without paying any disrespect for Plymouth, it's just I think rotation is a good thing, and that's what Rodgers does speak about. But then he doesn't really rotate very often, and he needs, I think, just a little bit of trust with other players needs to be shown a little bit. But also, before we do go, and I will give you my prediction for the game first, but there is also a bit of injury news that I'll get into. My prediction, I'm going to go for a 3-1 win. I think they're going to score, but I'm going to be confident. I think we're going to get away with a 3-1 win. So, of course, let me know in the comments down below. What would you do in terms of a lineup? What score you think it's going to be? And what about Chuba Akpom as well? What do you think about that? Do you think it's just bollocks? It's not going to happen? I personally don't think it's going to happen. But I thought I'd just let you know if you guys... well, of course, I like to update you guys on what's going on anyway. If it's just, rumours or not. But yeah, one last thing. Alese has been ruled out for the season. It's confirmed he's broke his leg, which is absolutely gut-wrenching for the lad. He's only, not so long ago signed a new contract as well. And I don't know why, because I think he has so much potential, that lad. But every time he has a run of 4 or 5 games, he's out for a season or out for months. And it's horrendous luck for the lad. I can't dig him out and be angry with the lad because he's injured. It's not his fault. It's the way of the world, and it can be very, very cruel. We've seen it with so many players, with Sirkin, Huggins. As soon as they get into a rhythm, they seem to break down. And sadly, I just don't think it's going to work. I think it might have happened one too many times, or one time too many for Alese. I think we'll end up getting replacements who hopefully don't get injured. Do you know what I mean? And again, it's not his fault, but it's just the way it's worked. And I'm absolutely gutted for the lad because I think there's a real player in there. And it was great competition between Alese and Sirkin on that left-hand side. I really enjoyed seeing that. And he seemed to be growing. But again, it's so sad because he seems such a lovely, likeable lad as well. Which isn't everything. And this sport is brutal. But yeah, it's not looking good, sadly. And it doesn't look like it's going to be back till pre-season at least. So, yeah, all the best wishes to him. Speedy recovery. But yeah, that's everything, guys. If you've enjoyed, hit the like button for me. It'd be massively, massively appreciated. Subscribe if you're not already to become a fully fledged member of the Sarny Army. But for now, take care. Stay jammy. Away the lads.